So today I want to talk a little bit about how do you navigate when your loved one is in recovery and has been for 15, 16 months. And in our situation, my son's half sister passed away. She's 45 years old. She was also an alcoholic. She died from cancer. And how do you, as a parent watching your son in recovery, deal with this when you know this is the first real time that they are dealing with true grief, clean and sober? So, no numbing it, actually dealing with emotional pain for the first time. And in Sam's case, this opened up the door for not only for him to grieve the passing of his half sister in a healthy way, but it was going to open up the Pandora's box, so to speak, of him grieving his dad's passing also, which he really hadn't done. As an adult, Sam had not been through the grieving process of losing his dad and now his sister. So this is the first time. And it's messy. And I found out about his half sister's passing on Facebook. And then Sam and I talked. And he was almost inconsolable, which was fantastic. His ability to go to tears and sob and cry and emote and feel was fantastic. And I just held the space for him to do that. And I felt really good about it. I wasn't going to try and make him feel better, talk him out of it, and act as if it wasn't happening. And so that was part of being able to help navigate for him his own journey, talk him through it to some extent. And the other thing that was kind of messy about this was they had not reconciled since Sam became clean and sober. His sister had written him off as just a deadbeat junkie and wasn't interested in reconciling. And she passed away, not having reconciled. And that was super difficult for Sam. He wasn't going to get the chance to do it. And he wondered, and he wanted to go to the funeral. And so there was a discussion with him about if, in fact, they did have a funeral anytime soon, that it was going to be super toxic. The environment was going to be super toxic. He was going to be walking into hostile territory because his half sister's family viewed him as nothing but a deadbeat junkie and low life. And so you can see, and this happens in a lot of families, is there's this delineation. There's a hierarchy of addiction that's acceptable and addiction that's not acceptable. And alcoholism, much more acceptable than drug addiction. And so there's this messiness of kind of figuring out, okay, who am I in this? How do I do this? I want to go and honor my sister. And yet I am very clear that I'll be heading into hostile territory. And as it turned out, they didn't do a funeral. They waited a month or so before they did a celebration of life. And by the time that came around, Sam had figured out that it wasn't going to serve him. By the time they were going to do a celebration of life for his half sister, Sam had spoken to his sponsor regularly to talk him through it, to listen to him. He has a girlfriend who was hugely supportive. I was there. I encouraged the connection between he and his uncle, his dad's brother, to talk this through also, because things were complicated. And I wanted him to know how complicated they were, that this wasn't just about him, that this complication, this messiness, this writing people off also expanded beyond him. And so that took place. And then Sam continued to go to his home group meeting and meetings in between. And as he did all of that, which is his work in his recovery, he came to the conclusion not to go. And when the celebration of life happened, he didn't go to that either. And so I think sometimes we have to choose what's the right way for us to grieve. Tears are great. Cry. Help yourself cry. When my dad passed away and I was in charge of wrapping everything up, I would drive myself around Charlottesville when I knew I needed to cry and play music on the radio that would help me sob. And I think grieving is another way of saying loving. I loved my dad deeply. I had lots of tears in the first year after he passed, for sure. And in the moments of going through his clothes and figuring out what is a giveaway and what, needs to go where, and family heirlooms and letters from my dad to my mom and all of the things. And so I did the things that I knew I needed to do in order to grieve for myself. And that's my advice to those of you who lose people to passings. Grieve the way that serves you. Talk to people, cry. Tears are fantastic. And go out for a walk in nature. Ask for help. If you need counseling, get it. Go to group meetings if that works for you, whether it's in person or on Zoom. Talk about the person that you love that has transitioned and moved on. Honor them. Your grief is a way of honoring how deeply you loved them. And so for my son, it was to encourage him, feel the feelings. If you need to take a break, take a break. If you need to go to the coast or the mountains to be in nature, go. Talk to people who loved your sister. And do a little bit of research. Find out what healthy grieving looks like, sounds like, and feels like. Not everybody does it the same way. Be prepared for getting caught off guard at the moments that you least expect it, that something's going to show up and you're going to remember her, like I'm going to remember my dad. It's okay. It's okay. The biggest thing you can do is feel the feelings and honor the depth of the love that you feel. The worst thing you can do is to bottle it up, to act as if it doesn't exist, to stuff it, to numb it, and then drive on. Please feel the feelings. Talk to people. Cry. Your grief is a tribute to the love that you felt for them. Feel it. Honor them until you're done. And you will always remember them. You'll always remember the funny moments, the heartfelt moments, the loving moments, the quiet moments, the moments when you connected with them, that you shared with them. And remember, they are always a part of you. No matter where you are, they'll always be. in your heart, in your memories. And honestly, I believe that my dad was pretty present with me in the decisions that I was making around all of the things around the house and memories, possessions, wrapping things up. Love them, love yourself, grieve them as an honor to the depth of your love. Do it your way and don't let anybody tell you how to do it. Find friends that can sit with you, family that can sit with you, because that's all they need to do. Thanks and God bless.